everyone, welcome to the Redmen Originals podcast with me, Paul Machin. I'm joined by Chris Pajak, by Dan Clubb, and stepping in for Clay Bloxham is Josh Williams as well, who's picked an absolute belter. No idea what we're going to get through on today's show. There might be a hot topic or two to discuss. There is a little bit of football in amidst it all as well, which we will do. Because, football is a thing and it's definitely worthy of some discussion, but it has been totally and utterly superseded by the events in the mix zone after the draw with Leeds United.
What happened, Paul?
Yeah, I don't know.
Anything?
I don't know, yeah. No, I know exactly what happens, yeah. Mo Salah decided to blow up my, whatever night it was, Saturday night?
Saturday night, yeah. And Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this day so far.
Yeah, boss.
Lovely guy.
And later on, we'll look ahead to the week's fixtures for Liverpool. Obviously, we play Inter Milan tomorrow, which is mad.
When do you go?
6 a.m. tomorrow. Yeah.
All the best.
Great time.
Yeah. I love those. Like when you pick, oh, what a great trip that's going to be. That's right. It's a big game that, and it's going to be really something. We'll see.
Shades of Madrid on the Rodgers disc because there's no one left to play.
True.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll come to that in due course. Before we do, we've got a prize draw to do, but I'll explain it on what I'm about to draw and why. Hey, what's happening? Have you checked out our incredible Redmen Advent giveaway yet? No? Well, let me explain a little bit about it. We are knee deep in amazing Liverpool prizes. We are in full swing here at Redmen HQ. 1 week down, but 3 weeks of amazing prizes still to go. We have got a Champions League final 2005 replica shirt signed by Vladdy Smicer. Yes, that can be yours. And we've still got the King Dingling of prizes, Rome 84 replica shirt signed by King Kenny Dalglish and Bruce Grobbelaar as well. Arguably the greatest ever Liverpool footballer and manager in one package, and the most famous goalkeeper in a European Cup final of all time, Bruce Grobbelaar. This absolute beauty of a shirt will be drawn on Christmas Day. So plenty of amazing prizes to get yourself stuck in with. We've got badges, we've got books, we've got loads of Liverpool themed things, and those major prizes still to give away. So head to redmenplus.com today, sign up as a Legend tier subscriber and get your names in the draw. Hey, welcome back. Yes, so we have got this to give away. If Dan Clubb would hold it up, it's a Klopp print based on the mural of the former manager. Very good indeed.
It's going up in value at the moment as well, isn't it?
Very much in demand, more in demand than maybe a year ago.
Cake Caesar selling, mate.
It is actually only pure by chance that I've got my Klopp believer jumper. I'm not making a statement as well, by the way. It's just
You don't do anything by chance, Paul.
No. I've decided to be more festive throughout December and to go through where every Christmas jumper out, because I normally go, I'll save them for in, and then I never get to wear them. So anyway, here I am in a Jurgen Klopp with no message to say other than I am a pure believer in Jurgen Klopp. Anyway, yeah, let's do the draw. We've got the wheel of names up. I'm going to click it, spin it, and then let's have a little drum roll, everyone. Oh. Sam Holbrook 01, congratulations. We'll be getting that sent out to you. There's plenty more prizes to give away. That is his one right there. Just
Place
nicely placed down. Thanks, mate.
You sat on the back looking at that on Tuesday night. We'll
laminate it for you if you want. Okay, sound. We're going to do a bit of the footy. Normally, regular viewers, listeners will know that the first section of the show is normally the lion's share of the show, and it will look back on the previous game. I don't not want to do that, but obviously the Salah stuff is going to permeate absolutely everything. But we'll try to do a small section on the game. Yeah. But
which links the problem.
Much to his annoyance.
He managed to permeate the game, maybe. It would have been a bit better for him. Anyway, Leeds 3, Liverpool 3. Dan Christ. It was all right until it absolutely wasn't, and then it was all right again until it absolutely wasn't again.
Yeah. There were definitely, moments of something in the game. And obviously, when you go 2-0 up, you start to wonder, you start to dream that maybe this is, all going to be okay, certainly on the night. But then I don't know, I never, maybe it's just where I'm at now with this current Liverpool side, I never felt truly comfortable. I think Leeds, certainly early doors, put it on us. We didn't really stand up to that challenge. They had a couple of half chances. I think Okafor goes close very, very early on. And just Canate and Van Dijk, neither of whom fill me with confidence. Every time a ball comes into our box, I get terrified right now, like from any sort of cross, set piece, throw in, any delivery. It just seems, even when we get first contact, it feels like there's an issue there. But
Van Dijk seems to get first contact all
loads,
the time.
but yet still, it's still a mess what happens thereafter for some reason, which I can't quite put my finger on. But yeah, Liverpool imploding never feels too far away, and that's exactly what happened at the weekend. So yeah, we just keep finding new ways, don't we? New ways of hurting us, and new ways of dropping points right now. And Saturday was a whole new one, because to go in the lead, if you'll pardon the pun, Leeds twice and manage to throw it away, that's really something. That certainly for a team that's as experienced and as sort of well-rounded as this one should be, to sort of throw that away on two separate occasions is quite remarkable, actually.
Yeah, that remains a consistent problem, Josh, but at least we managed to get into the lead, on two different occasions. That little spell where Canate scores is 2 goals. That was how easy it should be to score goals, and it hasn't been that easy for us to do that for basically the vast majority of this season.
Yeah, do you know what? I thought it was largely absolutely fine, if I'm honest. I don't think we created a great deal, but that's been a bit of a theme since Salah come out the team. The idea has been clean sheets and stuff like that. And after 73 minutes, which is the large majority of the game, Liverpool are fine. Liverpool have got a 2-0 lead. I think by that point we'd faced 6 shots. I think the shots were worth about 0.3 XG in total. And then, for some reason, Ibrahima Canate sets the gap on fire. And he just shoots everyone in the foot. Starts going berserk, gives away a penalty. And from there, completely different game. And Liverpool completely lose their heads. We know how fragile they've been mentally all season. I don't think the results have helped. I think you spiral very quickly when you're in this state of mind. Yeah. And it's a completely different game once we concede. And I think he created another 6 shots between then and the end of the game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just a moments of madness which Canate's been susceptible to all season.
Yeah. Well, in your latest Substack piece, you did officially bestow upon him
the Bozo gene, the famous Bozo gene.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if anyone deserves it right now, it's him, isn't it?
We can reel off lots of Liverpool players that have had it. I think it's very, Lovren is one that comes to mind. Alberto Moreno, I would say. Karius. Canate is absolutely one of them this season. It's hard to win games when you've got to play like that in your team.
Is it like the Olympic torch where they have to pass the baton, or does it go quiet at times and then it comes back?
No, it's multiple people can have it. Yeah, it's not a proud thing to have.
It's like if you pass the torch by lighting the next person on fire.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it's like. Yeah, spot on there.
Yeah, no, I do tend to agree with that. To be honest, I thought the game was in hand, and the thing that was mad for me, Chris, and we did a little bit about the manager's situation because that was the hot topic at full time. That. It's all, you're 2-0 up, and we were talking about when do the substitutions come and what do the substitutions look like. And, Liverpool away from home, got themselves comfortably in front to then make effectively quite solid substitutions as well. It wasn't him going for it. He didn't wildly change the shape. He did largely like for like.
Well, yeah, McAllister came in for Verts as well, didn't he? That was the first sub. And so he wasn't messing around with the sort of makeup of the sides. He absolutely spot on.
And Gomez in for Bradley as well. And then, and then it's so hard to unpick that thing because Josh right, Canate gives away the penalty. And it is Liverpool going, but also Leeds and their fans go, they smell blood in the water, and they're right too, because that's Liverpool do fall apart in this.
No, absolutely. Josh is right in terms of when he's talking about the XG and stuff, obviously, and for me the game was about quieting the opposition, and I didn't think they were going to go first half Sunderland in their attempts to, which is to bore the living daylights out of everybody in the ground, but they did, and it worked in the first half, and we still had opportunities where Curtis Jones hits the crossbar, doesn't he? Virgil van Dijk gets on the end of a cross from a free kick from Szoboszlai and nearly puts us 1-0 up in that first half. We come out for the second half, we have a really quick sort of little press, and then all of a sudden Ekatiké's in, and all of a sudden we're then 2 goals up because another press by like Conor Bradley wins the ball back, and we're flying at that point. But like the lads have said, they were so mentally fragile at the moment that when one thing goes against us, it's like we just can't recover from it. And, you know, in talking about Canate and stuff, the man just needs to put the smoking gun down. He's there, he's had it in his pocket all season long, and, you know, these crimes are happening, and he's there with it in his hand, and it's like, stop it.
Stop being at the scene of the crime.
But you know, straight after we can see the penalty, he comes up with one of the best blocks in the 6-yard box that you've ever seen, with some unbelievable defending. And that's the thing that frustrates me more than anything, is he clearly can do these things, but that's the bozo gene, isn't it?
Well, that's it. Like, I think one of the frustrating things for me is up until that point, I thought he was fine.
Been solid,
I thought he was okay. Yeah, he had a solid game, mate. So it's literally out of nowhere. It's not even a half chance. Like, the player's not getting a shot off there. He's quite wide. At best, he's putting a cross in. And he goes to ground. But why? He's just standing on rakes every week, mate. And it's hitting him in the face every single week. This is like, must be approaching double figures now for these individual errors for the season.
It's like when people watch certain like YouTubers, like you watch Mark Goldbridge for a mad moment where he just says something absolutely hilarious, and you know it's going to happen at one point. So you sit there waiting for it, and it's like you're waiting to play the music every single game at the moment, because you're right. He can do all that stuff. He's really good at what he does for the vast majority, and has been for the vast majority of his Liverpool career. But yeah, something. And I'd said in August that if he'd left for Madrid before the transfer window had shut, that would have made perfect sense, because it looked like his head was there. Now all the stuff's coming out that, you know, Real Madrid have kind of briefed that they're not interested in him, so that's another thing. But I don't know how those contract negotiations are going, because I can't imagine his agent going, so that wage increase that we discussed, the people go, what? Like when they did it to the women's players when the new regime come in and all the contract offers got pulled in. Yeah. Right, we're having another little look at that, because he's mad. And look, it ties into the whole thing, doesn't it, Dan, of like, he can make those mistakes, and everyone makes mistakes in football matches, but how Liverpool react to it is a bit of a problem. It doesn't help that the mistake leads to the highest quality possible XG of scoring a goal, i.e. a penalty, which is everything they're looking for to get themselves back in the game. But yeah, it's not great from Canate for it, and the reaction to it from everyone really is terrible as well.
No, yeah, far from it. But that's just us in a nutshell, isn't it, at the moment, really, when we do face some level of adversity, which wasn't on the card, let's be honest, because you've all rightly mentioned we were in somewhat complete control of proceedings at that point. We've managed to earn ourselves a 2-goal lead, and you think away from home, you've quietened the crowd, you've done what you wanted to do, you set out to do at Ellen Road, here we go, you are on a path to victory, but we do allow them the golden opportunity back into the game. But yeah, obviously the crowd comes alive, the players start to believe, certainly after the week they'd had. Obviously they went to Man City and nearly got something out of that. They'd just beaten Chelsea, so to give them any sense of opportunity was a little bit daft. But that's Canate right now, and everything he does seems to be going punished constantly. I think Quanta had this a little bit last year for like any little mistake, and Canate's making big mistakes, don't get me wrong, and I'm not condoning the way he's playing, but it does seem to be the case right now that every single time he does anything wrong, it ends up with a goal. But yeah, that to me is the biggest issue at Liverpool right now in terms of what I'm seeing out on the pitch. It is that reacting to problems and trying to solve issues in game and trying to sort of navigate tough moments. We're incapable. We're absolutely incapable. The minute teams put it on us for any semblance of time, any sort of long spell of pressure, any momentum swing, we are in deep trouble, and we saw it firsthand at the weekend.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of talk about the manager in this, but I do feel like we've got enough experienced players that they should not be waiting for the manager to help them out in every single situation. Like, it feels like we need the manager to do something to help the players every single time something goes against them. That's not right. No, and the managers, these players are so experienced.
Should be problem solving on the job, shouldn't they?
They should be able to deal with all of this themselves, but yet they're not able to.
To be fair, I think their response to the equaliser is an example of that. Them doing that. We were sitting going, what's Slot do now? Because he's made his more defensive substitutions. Does he now chase the game? If you chase the game, does that leave you wide open to absolutely having the game put beyond doubt against you?
I agree with that, Paul, but they conceded another.
Yeah.
No. And then they conceded another.
To do it twice is criminal.
You're absolutely spot on. But until that point, it was 2-1. That's when they deal with it.
100%. No, exactly. All I'm saying is, I don't think they're devoid of being able to do that. Actually, I would totally agree that it was a huge problem if we had no ability to do it. That's why I was quite encouraged. Curtis Jones gets on the ball, drops between the centre halves and starts an attack off with a nice brave pass through the middle of the pitch, and you're like, cool, someone's capable. That makes it for me more frustrating because there clearly is an ability to make that happen for them. But it's a shame because it's probably the best goal of the game. Actually, the one that we go ahead with, in terms of the passing movement and the step over from McAllister and all that. It's actually a really well worked goal from us. It's the kind of goal you'd expect Liverpool to kind of make happen. But to go back to the point, cool, see the game out, and then corners, and it's just keeps coming down to mad individual moments and headers and bad bounces again and all that kind of stuff. But mad.
Yeah, another set piece at the end of the game. That's no corners that we've scored from this season in the Premier League, from about 70, 80 attempts, I think. And I think for the season as a whole, we're -9 now for goal difference from set pieces. So it's an absolute mess. And I know I've been kind of a little bit sympathetic towards Arne Slot for the past few months and stuff like that. I've been touching on the squad and the balance and things like that. But in this one, I did feel sorry for him. It's hard not to, innit? I mean, we're 2-0 up, and Canate goes and does what he does, and then last minute, we've got the lead back, and he concedes from a set piece. I mean, when it rains, mate, it really does pour, doesn't it? And it's one of them at the moment where he's not doing his job particularly well either, but it feels like nobody is. It feels like even Szoboszlai lately, I think, has been a bit like...
Yeah. The set piece thing, I take your point, but the set piece thing has to fall under his responsibility. I know it's not his job directly, but it's still under his watch. So it is really bad now. This isn't once or twice.
He has to sit down when the other team gets to fucking throw it.
It depends how you view it, though. It depends how you view that one. Like, why?
Well, I view it as falling upon Arne Slot. Ultimately, it has to end up at his door, doesn't it? Albeit Aaron Briggs is the guy tasked with, albeit that wasn't his job all to begin with. It wasn't in the job description. But if he's watching his team, which is what Arne Slot is, concede and not score to, because I think actually at the other end, to your point about not scoring from them, the lack of creativity in what we're trying to do. I watch Fulham, Crystal Palace. There's more creativity in their corners and the movement in and around them than I've seen from any Liverpool game this season. But to not score from them is really, really poor. But to concede so many at the other end, like Arne Slot has to be asking serious questions of his guy who's meant to be dealing with this.
Well, he's not his guy though. Like Briggs was appointed
like a development coach or something like that.
Yeah, he was either appointed before. I think he might have been appointed before Slot in a development coach role, and the idea was like a Linders Matos kind of vibe. Yeah.
But to your point, the point remains like he needs to ask questions of somebody. Then.
And I think a key point as well is we don't know when it comes to staffing appointments, coaching appointments. Obviously, Slot's brought some of his guys from the Netherlands and that, but is that like a sporting director thing to build that member of that team of staff sort of thing?
When he's surrounded by his own men, you would suggest that Slot has a very heavy hand in it, which is why I guess that the understanding would be, well, he's picked everyone else. Surely surely he's okayed Aaron Briggs. He hasn't gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He'll have been asked, is this all right?
At the very least, he'll have okayed them. I completely agree with that. Yeah. I'm just heavy on what's your responsibility. What are you doing? And if there's a guy whose literal job title is set piece coach, and he's got a set piece analyst working under him, and he for me is the guy who's coaching the set pieces. So obviously Slot has to take on some of the blame. Obviously, I mean, he's the head coach, but the actual job of set pieces is getting coached by a specific fella. That's literally all he does.
Every time we get a set piece, the guy stands up and walks to the edge of the technical area. And obviously, I think I'm half joking. Slot doesn't just sit down like
he tends to a lot.
But you're not really meant to have more than one person in the technical area. So theoretically, he should withdraw from it and let this guy coach this particular area of the game. So
it's the same as what Arsenal are doing. It's exactly the same. Nicholas Jover's getting all the credit.
It's not exactly the same.
Well, no. It's the same the opposite way, I suppose.
Quite major.
But the way when Arsenal score from a set piece, Arteta doesn't get credited.
No.
It's Nicholas Jover that gets the credit, and rightly so. And if Liverpool are getting bashed from him, probably have a go at Briggs rather than Slot in my book anyway, but I understand that people don't necessarily agree with that, and put a lot of onus on the manager, and I do get that side as well.
Yeah, well, that was kind of the question, really, of like how much there's so much of it on Slot. It is, but like that's why I'm finding it really, really difficult to analyse Liverpool in particular in the last few weeks, because I just don't know what can the manager do in certain situations. If you've picked the team and particularly if you've had the team talk. My issue, we said this at half time, we've been shit in second halves for so long, and that isn't what Liverpool normally do. Which is, well, how do you change it? I don't know how to change it, but normally they go yada yada yada, be a bit better in the second half, and they are, and they were, and they came out and got that. So Slot's kind of done his bit, and again he's made the intelligent substitutions to let's try and be a bit more solid, in the back end of this game. Let's not chase 3-2 will do. So yeah, it's hard for me to really point a finger to blame at Slot for this particular
for this
game.
Specific game. I agree with you,
but then it comes back to like the mentality of the players. He is responsible for. I mean, like, I remember Klopp saying, and I didn't understand it at the time, when we were going through that bad run, and he kind of said, "It's on me, this," and he said, I'm clearly not explaining it right. And we were all like, what the fuck are you talking about, mate? They're just idiots, like they're just doing it wrong. And that was his way of saying, no, look, I'm the manager, and if the players aren't doing something right, then I must not be getting my ideas across to them clearly. And if it remains true, then yes, Slot is responsible, because it is his football team. But yeah, I like you saying, just there's too many little moments there where you're like, well, Gravenberch just had the ball away, and it's not a problem.
I don't disagree with anything that Slot did pretty much in that game.
Yeah.
From a management point of view, I think the substitutions were right. I think he didn't go push it too far.
I've seen some people have a go at that, though. I'm not into
Subs.
it. Yeah, I'm not into. I think bringing on McAllister and Gomez when you're 2-0 up and it's on the 70th minute, 68 minutes, I think he does it. That for me is fine, right. And he does that throughout last season, and it works.
Yeah. It's safe, but it's about right, I think, in the circumstances in the game state. My overall.
The only thing I would say, is maybe a more defensive substitution when you do go 3-2, but
maybe then really look to shut it up. Yeah.
Well, what else would there have been at that point?
Well, there was only Robbo, wasn't there? I think that was about it. So even then, it's a real tough one to sort of jig it around in such a way that you can actually get Robbo into the side.
Well, no, actually, at 3-2 we do. So
and
Endo comes on at 3-2 for Gakpo.
But there was a forward that got brought on at the same time.
Isak comes on for Ekatike.
So a more defensive substitution
at that point.
At that point, but again, it's not.
But if Endo's on,
it's not easy to do to bring in Endo and Robertson into that side. Yeah. So it's great to say it's make a defensive substitution, but what have you actually got there?
But while Slot might have got a lot right. It's just a wider issue, isn't it, right now with Liverpool, in terms of like the mental state and how fragile we look and how
susceptible. We drew with newly promoted Leeds United, and that's enough for most people's level of analysis.
But when you group it in with what's gone before as well, and again the vulnerability is the same old in terms of the way we can see it in goals and indeed chances. That's when you can't help but look at the manager once again, because it's just more drop points.
Right. Well, speaking of looking at the manager. Somebody who's not looking at the manager as much as he would maybe like, or maybe he is at the back of his head on the subs bench. Mohamed Salah, everyone now knows what we're talking about. He's spoken in the mix zone. I was stunned, like genuinely stunned. I've spoken about it in other places as well. I'll kind of pass the floor over to you guys in a sec, but I came down here. And Steve was watching the video on his phone, and I was like, "Yeah, let me." And I sat next to Steve, like shoulder to shoulder, watching the leaked version of it, and my jaw, literally like it's like a cartoon,
like the mask,
like my fucking jaw was like hung open for the entire 2.5 minutes of that particular version of the video. Go on. Initial reactions, we'll go around the room, Chris.
When the first thing came through, I was like, oh, that's probably bullshit. And then I think I'd got home by the time the videos were put in the group. And it was that one on the telly was the first one that I saw where it was really hard to understand what Mo was saying. And I was just catching little snippets of it. And then I looked in the comments and people were like, nah, it's fake. And I was like, I'm not sure it is fake. This is like AI would do better quality video than this. Like I could at least understand it. And then I was just like, what the hell's going on? What is happening, at this football club now, where you've got one of its most decorated players of the last 20 years, one of the best players of the last 20 years, in an all-out war, it seems, with an under-pressure manager at a time when that's what we need there on that wall, which you can't see, which is unity of strength.
Oh, but everyone could see it on the video me and Steve did and was going, God, imagine talking about this with unity of strength written on the wall behind you. Like, yeah, good.
But that's what we need, and I hate it when any football club, but especially mine, airs its dirty laundry in front of other people.
Yeah.
And I just, it's something I've always sort of not liked in any walk of life. And to see this happening, I was just dumbfounded.
Yeah, Josh, when you first saw, where were you when you first saw it, heard it, whatever?
So obviously the game, the ending of the game wasn't great. So my first thought was, right, I'm leaving the house. So I thought, I'll go and get something to eat. So I'm literally standing outside the place where I'm going to have a bite to eat.
Where was it?
Well, I was going to say, you can't just say that.
It was in town. Rudy's.
What was it? Oh, Rudy's.
It sounds
Okay,
quite
pizza.
big, okay. Yeah.
What
Yeah,
type of
Belgium.
pizza is Rudy's? Is it Neapolitan?
Neapolitan, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
You want all the details, yeah?
What did you get?
Nora's question, carry on.
I know you got pizza, but which type of pizza?
It's called doppia mozzarella, the type I get.
Okay.
Yeah, if we're going full out, all out detail, like, I mean, that's...
You
that's
two have got your own fucking show, don't you? Jesus Christ.
But I
But
couldn't,
your reaction to seeing this thing whilst you had your pizza.
You couldn't eat a pizza bowl.
I couldn't believe it. I thought it was fake, like Chris. The first thing I saw was that video, and I just, as you say, I couldn't make it out, especially in a busy restaurant. So I just kind of tried to leave it, but I eventually got wind that it was true and it was real and all that, and yeah, absolutely couldn't believe it. It's just categorically not for me at all. I am very much against it. I will not back him in the slightest. He's been out the team for 7 days. He's been out the team for a fucking week, mate. It's an absolute joke that he goes to that level. He's got no relationship with the manager. He has been thrown under the bus by the club. You've been out the team for a week, mate. Nah, I'm getting angry now saying it. Honestly, he's an absolute baby, mate, to be honest. I think he's a man-child. To go to that level. Nah, Dan, go on, mate.
I was going to say, tell us how you really feel, Josh.
Yeah.
It winds me up, mate, that he's done that.
This is
It
going to be
really
fun.
winds me up.
Didn't surprise me in the slightest. Not in the slightest. I said 2 weeks ago in that very chair you're sat in, this is going to happen. If you keep poking that bear and keep him on the bench, you will get a reaction from Mo Salah.
But that reaction.
It was inevitable. Oh, some of the language and some of the wording of what he said, thrown under a bus, broken down relationship with the manager, clearly didn't expect that because who would? But the fact that he's gone to the media and he's sought out this channel and this way of telling the public how he really feels, then yeah, that was inevitable. Of course it was going to happen. Honestly, I swear to God, it didn't surprise me in the slightest because he's done it before. He's got previous for this sort of stuff, albeit in different circumstances. You keep dropping Mo Salah and keep him on the bench, especially when you don't bring him on in certain games and you don't win them games. Yeah, this is what Mo Salah does. Mm-hmm. This is how he tells the world how he feels and what he wants.
Do you agree with it, though?
Don't agree with it necessarily because I don't like to see it. I sympathise with it. I understand it. I get why he feels the need. If he feels that promises have been broken and he is wired in a way that we will never understand because he's all ego, arrogance, confidence, whatever you describe it. Therefore, he believes he is the absolute pinnacle and elite and deserves to be treated differently and command a certain level of respect that we will literally never understand. But I absolutely get it. Don't like it, but I get it.
Wow. Yeah, it's interesting. Has anyone's position changed, hardened, softened? I know Josh is hardened.
Mine's hardened, yeah.
On Salah.
Since the initial.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's thrown Liverpool under the bus. I think it's the opposite way around. I think, if anything, actually, when you think about what the manager's done, the manager made a rod for his own back by taking Salah out to the side, because if he gets that wrong, then it's all on Arne Slot for not playing Mo Salah. Mm-hmm. And I think it was such a difficult decision for Slot to be able to make, because he could quite easily have just gotten away with playing Mo in whatever form he's in, and it would never come back on the manager for playing Mo Salah. And now this is just blown up, and it feels like it's either the manager or the player right now. And I can't imagine that the higher-uppers at the club are looking at this in any way where they go, well, we'll back a 33-year-old player that we're paying $400,000 a week who's not really been in very good form. I just can't see why he's done it in the manner in which he has, because I don't think personally that this is an argument that he can win played out in public, because FSG and anyone at Liverpool Football Club don't want an argument in public with a player. And so how do you make this work? It feels, at first I thought it was Mo Salah, I'll be honest, saying, very different to someone like a Trent. I thought it was very different. I thought it was, I'm fighting for the club that I love. But then the more I've sat on it, I've thought it's not.
It's self-serving.
Honestly, it's categorically not that.
It's self-preservation, absolutely it is, yeah.
But it's not for Liverpool.
But it's not even self-preservation. It's like,
he feels wronged.
He does. And I don't disagree with what you've said about, I can understand why he's done it the way that he's done it, but I just don't think he should have done it at all. And I think he should have spoken to somebody outside of his probably little circle of people that he speaks to and got some other kind of viewpoint on it, because I think he's surrounded by yes men who are standing to gain a lot of money out of this situation, and Salah has been duped into doing it and won't be at Liverpool Football Club for the long term, and that might be a decision that the player himself regrets.
What we don't know, what we aren't privy to though, is certain parts of the conversations that he may or may not have had. We don't know about the promises that he's referring to. We don't know how Slot's handled dropping him. That's the other thing we need to consider in this, because if Slot's just done it, then he will feel like
he did speak to him on the Friday, didn't he? He did say, Salah said that he spoke to him on the Friday.
He told him he wasn't playing.
And he told him he
wasn't playing. And that's when the players realised.
So we can see that he's spoken to him there.
We don't know how.
Of course we don't. So if we don't know how and we're in a grey area, how can you be right either way? You can only make an assumption based on how you see the situation, and it's difficult because we never get to see behind closed doors. But that behind closed doors might be the reason that Salah's not in the side in the first place.
Yeah. I go back to the broken promises thing, and I'd like to know. I've got a suspicion what that is, and I've spoken about it elsewhere. And I think he's been sold this dream of his 2 years, mate. You know, you get to carry on being you. We're going to put these new players in, and we're going to win you some more trophies. But don't worry, you're central to our plans. And I think behind the scenes, they've gone, he's not central to our plans. You know, we want to engineer a situation where he isn't, but actually quite the opposite, as quickly as we can possibly make that happen. But I don't think that was meant to happen by November or December in this policy. I just don't think that was the case. Because I can't imagine that the broken promise is you will start 90 minutes 3 times a week, but every game.
He has for the first 3 months of the season. That's what's happened, and he's stunk the place out. He hasn't been very good.
But nobody has. He feels like he's been made a scapegoat for Liverpool.
But everyone, the whole team, apart from Szoboszlai, is in a position where realistically any of them could get dropped. Any of them. So, but
it's been him. I think is his point. I'm not disagreeing.
Everyone's had time on the bench.
It's been him.
Florian Wirtz had a week, £100 million player. He had a week not that long ago where he had something like 3 consecutive games on the bench.
Because of what Salah's done and what he's achieved and how integral he's been to us, literally he referenced last season. Like, he feels that shouldn't be happening to him. And I'm not agreeing with him. I'm just telling you why he put forward his case in the manner that he has and why I'm not surprised by it. Because I get his way of thinking. I completely understand it. And again, nobody wants this civil war. Like, to your point about unity, we want that. We're not division. You know, it's the last thing Liverpool need right now. Yeah. Last thing Arne Slot needs right now. But that's not to say I don't understand why Salah's done it. You know,
look at the contract thing last year. And people criticised Trent because everyone kind of got the sense he was going, and really everyone just wanted to know as early as possible. Look how Van Dijk conducted himself. Said nothing, but every now and again he'd come and say, "It's all right, don't worry, it's all in hand. It'll be what it'll be. Don't worry about it. You know, we're concentrating on doing this thing." And Mo Salah was coming out going, "I'm more out than in." You know, and he was using his platform to try and engineer himself a new contract. And you look at how Van Dijk's conducted himself this season. It's very much like, we all know we need to get better, we need to do this, we're going to fight for it. Now, that's loads easier for him to say because he's the captain and he's in the team every week. Maybe that is a thing. But what I felt was sad about it was, imagine if Mo Salah, having spent 3 games on the bench, had come out and gone, yeah, I'm disappointed to be on the bench, but my God, I'm going to go and dig deep and prove everyone wrong. There's been some people saying some bad stuff, saying saying my legs have gone, saying this hasn't gone well for me this season. But you know what? When I get a moment on the pitch, I'm going to go and prove that I can do it, and I'm going to get myself back into this team, and I'm going to do blah blah blah. He could have done that. Imagine how good we'd have felt coming out of this 3 games, where you're thinking, okay, it's not been great, but we have stopped the rot a little bit, and Salah's come out, but even Salah's prepared to pull in the direction, and instead he uses his first opportunity to say, this is not for me, and what a disrespect this has all been to me. That I just found that quite, again, I found that distasteful. I found that, and again, I found it sad that someone like him, because he knows the value of his platform and the power of his voice. But that's why, again, to know why he's done this, I think that it's not as simple as he's just been dropped for 3 games and he's spitting his dummy out because it's 3 games. I think he's now seen the writing on the wall, and the idea that he's going to finish his career at Liverpool is probably not. He now goes, oh, that's probably not the case, and that's what he's kind of upset about more than being on the bench for a couple of games would be my take.
There just has to be more to it, because he's not stupid. He's the opposite of that. And nobody has a divine right to be in any side in world football, not even Mohamed Salah at Liverpool. And he'll know better than anyone his form hasn't been at it. He's not so unaware of that situation, which is why I think there's more to it.
He thinks he does, though.
And again, his words are very inflammatory, and they're not nice to hear, because it's the last thing you want to hear from anybody at the club, certainly right now. But there just has to be more to it. When you talk about broken promises, relationships breaking down, like that's strong stuff. And he hasn't just said that on a whim.
But the promises thing, Dan, what can it be?
I don't think it's to do with that.
What could it be?
Has to be around game time, doesn't it?
I don't think it does. I think it's a style of play thing, like Paul said, to be honest. I think he's still the main man. I think that's the promise. And he's looked at it and he's seen the writing on the wall in terms of he's not really the main man, because Liverpool have signed Ekatike and Isak and Wirtz, and they're trying to find a way to play with them 3. And Salah's position on the field is getting changed slightly.
But I think he'd look at that as a challenge, and to your point, he'd go, well, I'll show you. And I think he feels that moment has been and gone now. I think it's got that bad, whatever's happened behind the scenes, he doesn't even feel like there is an opportunity for him to show his true colours again. That's my only understanding of it.
Do you know what it feels like to me, though?
He feels compelled to do this. Then.
Do you know when you've had an argument with your bird or your wife or something like that, and then all of a sudden, there's a reason for the argument, right? But then she's throwing out reasons from 6, 9, 12 months ago, and they're all coming to the forefront. I think that's what Salah's done. I think the crux of it is the game time over the last few weeks. I think the crux...
No, 1 week. 1 week.
I think the fact that he didn't get off the bench against Leeds, but did for 45 minutes against Sunderland, has done his head in. And then he's just gone out there, absolutely fucking steaming, looking for a fight, and he's just dragged up things from 6 months ago, when really what mattered to him was that he didn't get off the bench against Leeds and get the opportunity to fire Liverpool into the lead.
I think the thing as well with this is, because I was actually looking at it, we've not just like swapped him out. No. It's not like the new kid on the block has taken his place. We've basically deleted his position from the team. That's what we've done. So Bosley's not playing in Salah's position. He's not.
Honestly, before this, we conceded 10 goals in 3 games. Right, we conceded 3 to City, 3 to Forest, 4 to PSV Eindhoven. I think it's a perfectly sensible move to make on the back of that, to think, right, we need to shut this door. We need to stop the leak. We need to improve on the defensive end as a priority. And since then, he's sacrificed the attack and the process.
Can I just jump in though? Because I'm not even looking at the comments at the moment, but I'll say what the comments are going to say. Cody Gakpo. Could you not have just taken Cody Gakpo?
But Cody Gakpo defends.
Does his defensive work?
Does he?
Is the point?
Yeah.
But does he?
Yeah.
Is he good at?
But then last season would be my argument to that. And again, I'm just being devil's advocate for a lot of this conversation, by the way. Like, we didn't have so much of an issue there. Salah didn't do
but he was
much of
delivering.
That. Granted, but the defensive stuff still would have remained, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but he's worth carrying. That's a trade-off.
He got 47 goals and assists last
we didn't
season.
consider anything like the amount of chances.
29 goals in 38
goals.
games.
So it can't just be on Salah, is what I'm saying. He can't be our key to our defensive.
But the style of play is built around him getting the goals. And again, we've bought players who don't play in that position, who play in different positions, centre forward and 10. That they are being bought to be the main source of the goals. It's just we're just in an awkward handover phase, and it just isn't great for Mohamed Salah. I think there probably is an ideal world where we could have kept with the same sort of system with it, but also we can't, because the second you take Trent out of that team, you need someone else who can do the kind of things that Trent was doing, and Wirtz was bought for that. But then Wirtz doesn't seemingly work in the formation that we played last season. So something had to give. I think I'm not unappreciative of the fact that it's not ideal for anyone really. But I don't know. I think there's a lot of people there who would look at the numbers and go, I mean, look, ultimately Cody Gakpo was outperforming Mo on basically every metric this season anyway. But he's not Mo Salah. So if you're going to take someone out, and again, I know Cody might functionally do it, but I wouldn't look at Cody Gakpo and say he's a fucking great, he's a great defensive addition to what we do.
No, I agree. I am not the biggest fan of Cody Gakpo, believe me, honestly. But if you look, Gakpo has not been a tactical problem on the defensive end for Liverpool this season. Salah has at times. There's been games where, I think of Chelsea, for example.
They spoke about it?
Yeah, Cucurella speaks about it after the game. You think of Nico O'Reilly for City at the Etihad. So if you want to lock down a game, Slot prioritised fixing that right side. He brings in Joe Gomez as his right back, and he puts Szoboszlai, his best presser, as his right-sided forward. And you go from there, and we keep a clean sheet. Then we concede a deflected goal against Sunderland. Didn't really look like conceding otherwise. And then we do well for 73 minutes against Leeds, and then Canate kills everyone. Canate goes mad, and it spirals from there. So the actual shift, the actual plan to tighten up without Salah, I would argue it kind of worked, but we sacrificed the attack in the process. And crucially, A, we still conceded the odd goal, and B, we didn't win. We won against West Ham, we drew against Sunderland, then we drew against Leeds. So people are still looking at it through the same lens as before Salah, as in we're not any better, but we're still crap and all this. Obviously it weren't Salah's fault, but there's been a marginal improvement there against the ball. There has been, whether you want to see that or not. But I get that people paint like Slot is the villain and all this, Salah's a hero and all that nonsense. But this season he hasn't delivered, mate. So the trade-off that you organised last season, we'll cover you, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. He hasn't lived up to his end of the bargain just as much as Liverpool haven't lived up to their end of the bargain.
There's also what Isak hasn't scored and Wirtz hasn't scored. It's like, yeah, I know, but like you can't. At some point, Salah will be done. And I can't tell you. No one watching Mo Salah this season can tell me that his legs definitely haven't gone. People are telling me that his legs have gone. I refuse to believe that they've definitely 100%. That's it. Salah finished. I think that's an over-exaggeration. But the future of Liverpool is quite clearly, the £250 million attacking duo plus Ekatike. To be fair, that they've spent that money on. They none of them have gotten close to Salah's level yet. None of them have hit the ground the way that Salah did in his first season and stuff. So again, this all kind of confuses the whole situation, because you're right. If we just won those two games, this would have looked like a masterstroke from Slot.
Yeah.
But as it is, it all feels like a big mushy mess. Nobody's really grabbed it. Nobody's kind of gone, right, this is all fine. So it's actually not the worst time for Salah to state his case. If he'd done this on the back of two more wins, well, maybe, yeah. And he would have looked like it would have definitely looked like a massive baby. But right now, I think he's got enough. His credit in the bank, I think, is keeping him aloft in this sort of argument at the moment.
I think the thing is, though, if Slot does this for the whole 7 days we're talking about, and it doesn't.
How long was it? and Craig David sat next to you.
And it doesn't work, right? If we're still awful, if we're still conceding left, right, and centre, whatever, Salah comes back in then. But he's the manager. He's allowed scope to experiment with different things. So he tries for a week, full 7 days. Takes Salah out the team, let's see how it goes. And he brings in Gomez at right back. McAllister's had spells out the team. Canate would have had spells out the team if we had backups. Wirtz spent a week on the bench as well. Isak's barely got started. Ekatike, despite being our best forward, has had a spell on the bench.
Kirkers, Robbo.
Salah sees himself beyond reproach.
He sees himself with Virgil van Dijk.
And nobody is bigger than the football club also. We've heard it said a million times. Kenny said, like lots of people have said it. But Salah, whether we like it or not, Salah sees himself above and beyond all those people you just mentioned.
The other thing that done his head in most, I reckon, though, is the fact that, Paul said it before, he literally got replaced by Liverpool's best presser. So you've gone from one extreme to the other. If you replace him with any other player in the squad, the difference between the two performances isn't as vast.
It's like, this is the entry level now, mate. You've got to be able to press like Szoboszlai, otherwise you don't get in this team. I mean, I don't. As far as a motivational tool goes, like if you wanted to explain something to someone, this is the silhouette of what your position now looks like. I mean, everyone would be pissed off. I mean, again, I do empathise with it. If someone came in, if a new person came into your job and you'd risen through the ranks and you were great, and they just went, right now you're going to be doing fucking data entry again when you're out on the road being the superstar or something, then you would be fucking pissed off with that. I get that, but you're right. The manager is allowed to do what he wants.
The handling of it's key, though.
No, I know, but I think this is where we come into the next phase of this issue, Dan, is that people think the manager's done. So it's a bit like, so we've got this, Chris said, Slot versus Salah. I'm not convinced this is Slot versus Salah. I think this is Edwards and Hughes's and Slot plan versus Salah. I think Slot can still go. I think you can let Salah go and Slot could still get the sack at any point during this run. It's more that they've decided that the future definitely doesn't have Mo Salah in it, is my concern, and that would explain why I think his nose is up at that joint.
Yeah,
on it.
That's a big old decision to make 5 months after you give the fella a new 2-year deal off the back of winning us Premier League nigh on single-handedly. Yeah, to go from that extreme to another feels wild.
Yeah, but you can sit on a mistake far too long, though, can't you? As well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And if they think it's a mistake, this actually probably plays into their hands.
And you might get 50 million for him.
Yeah. Listen,
I reckon that might have been the plan. I reckon the plan might have been he goes through this season as normal, and you maybe take a fee for him, and like in the summer that's coming. So you give him a 2-year contract, yes, but you almost get paid for one of them. But it's spiraled really, really quickly 3 months into the season, where like now it's difficult to envisage your way back. And from my perspective, I struggle with the whole superstar ego stuff. It's just not for me. It's for other people maybe, but it's just not for me. And he's saying in his interview after the game, like, I don't know why this is happening to me and stuff like that, but the exact reason why he conducts that interview is exactly why he's not in the team, because he prioritises himself. He's single-minded. He doesn't think of the collective. So, and if you go into a period where you're really struggling and you want to,
are you about to say how many assists he's got?
No, not just assists. I think
I'm not talking about assists.
I'm not.
Like,
I think
state of mind.
He looks after number one.
He's an individual, mate. He's an individual.
He's an individual with a lot of.
He's unbelievable.
And no one can question his loyalty to his football club and his overall sense of like wanting Liverpool to be better. And a lot of that is, driven by his own individual targets and ambitions and all that sort of stuff. But it's the way he's conducted himself from the minute he arrived around us as a collective and wanting us to be successful, not just him. I struggle with that. I don't agree with that. I'm sorry. I can't.
I disagree with you then.
You think he's completely selfish?
Yeah, I do. But that's not like the worst. I mean, look on his interview, mate. Look, why would you do that?
No, I think he acts like that in certain moments, but I don't think his general being since he arrived has been that at all.
If you had any incest, maybe not since he arrived. When he first arrived, he's not a superstar. But I think now, you would not conduct that interview. You would not say those things if you had any incest whatsoever in the collective. You just would. Because he's just throwing a grenade in the dressing room. Yeah. That's what he's done.
He's done that.
It's not going to help anyone. Nobody. So why would you do it? Unless
he's looking after number one in that instance.
That's my point. That's my point. And I think he's
got previous for that as well.
I think he has that way about him on the pitch. And he's not the only one, by the way. Mbappe is the same. Ronaldo was the same.
Vinicius.
Messi currently throwing the manager under the bus at Real.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, Slot's under enough pressure about this, like of his own, like making about it. I get that point entirely. But yeah, I do struggle with the generalisation of Salah being that way.
Well, you've got to remember, and look, again, Trent kind of highlighted this notion of like, do players love football clubs? No, it's not the way we love football clubs. I don't care if they say it. And Salah keeps, I love this football club, I do. And I'm sure you do to the level that you can, but it's not the same. Trent was a boyhood Liverpool fan. Yeah, but he was at Liverpool from age 9. I'm sorry, it's not the same. It's been your job since you were a kid. You just haven't got the same depth of feeling towards it. So I think Salah does care about Liverpool, but ultimately careers are short, and he understands his worth. So I don't think he's capable of putting Liverpool above himself, because that's the nature of the game. That's the nature of football. He's got to be that. That's his role in the football team as well. It's not a selfless role. It's a role where you put yourself out there every week. You carry the team on your shoulders, and I know we're saying carry the team on your shoulders, but it's just scoring goals. You know what I mean? The team is built for the team is also built for you to do that. I kind of get what he's about saying. I don't think he's totally selfish, but also the interview doesn't make that.
No, far from it. No,
just to be clear, like I have no question in my mind that he loves Liverpool and like cares about Liverpool and all that. That's not. I'm talking about within the team environment. I don't think some players will manage their teammates on the pitch, and you think in a collective way. For example, Dominic Szoboszlai is quite clearly into the collective. That's just the way he works. James Milner was the same. I think Salah is the opposite end of the scale within the confines of a team where he is single-minded. I think he thinks about himself first, and I think you can see that in the interview.
But football, this is my thing on Salah. I think you can adapt that, and I was hopeful that we'd see him adapt throughout the season, and maybe this is back to mismanagement from Slot. And you need to have more conversations. If you're going to change his role within the team, then you should be holding his hand through it, because that's what he has earned. He's earned the respect of his employers to be able to say, look, we're paying you to do this job. If we're changing the job, tell him the job's changing. Don't just change it on him and then go, what do you mean you can't, you're not Dominic Szoboszlai anymore? What do you mean you're not 26 with an engine that will go all day long? I get the fact that I understand why you might feel a bit disjointed, but footballers all have this, don't they? Where they stop being that the young version of themselves, and some footballers' careers end there, and others have to adapt and move on. Like Wayne Rooney ends up as a midfielder by the time his career is done, because he can't function at the highest level, but he's such a good footballer that he can still have a career. Giggs goes from being a winger to a midfielder. Salah, there's an evolution of Mo Salah here that could well still benefit Liverpool. It's whether but if he's got a bunch of people around him saying, no, that's your position, mate. This is your team. It should be getting built. They were telling you in the summer it's your team. Then that's where problems. It looks like problems will arise. But it's mad.
It's such a shame, though, isn't it? For it to sort of feels like as it's coming to an end, because he has genuinely been one of the best players that we've ever seen. 8.5 years in, or whatever it is now, and the amount of goals, third record goal scorer for Liverpool. I mean, the amount of assists is just unbelievable. And for it to come like this, and for us not to see him sort of grow old graciously and change it and stuff, it's really tough to take. And I think it's really difficult as well because of the timing of it, because the manager's under pressure at the same time. I think for me, if you were a leader in that squad, you would be in there working dead hard with everybody to get Liverpool out of it, not causing shit for everybody. Because now we know that, later on today, the press conference is going to be all about Mo Salah. It's going to be, is Salah travelling to Inter Milan? What are Liverpool going to do? It's Salah, 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 Salah. And it shouldn't be. It should be, how do Liverpool turn this form around? How do Liverpool improve this season? What are we doing to help the manager? Blah, blah, blah. And it feels like, as well, that Salah's out on his own here. Doesn't look... Have you seen anything on, like, the squad backing him up?
All the Egypt squad.
Some of the training pictures from today have been semi-positive around Salah.
Well, they've been as someone who takes a lot of photos and stuff, you can pick whatever photos you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No one's going to put Liverpool are not putting the photos out of them really looking a bit of I got a grumpy face on him. Like, but it's not like there's one of him and Szoboszlai hugging and having a laugh. It's not like Szoboszlai's go get off you prick. No. So
I don't know. It feels to me like the sort of silence online means that he's not backed up by the rest of the squad, and that's a concern for me.
They saw it coming, didn't they?
Just imagine being on the coach on the way home. It's a night game, you're on the coach for an hour, you've just drawn 3 over the last minute equaliser, and you're checking your phone, and you're seeing, the most prominent player at the club who sat 3 seats behind you, saying what he's saying, and it's just completely going off. Like, imagine what you'd think if you Van Dijk reading that, or Wirtz as like a new player at the club. But, it's not helping anyone.
Yeah, it's weird. It's I go back to it. It's just sad. Just I think we all love Mo Salah. We all just want him to be able to succeed for Liverpool. That's the best thing that can possibly happen. But I don't know. It's one of them. It's happened so abruptly that you can't really wrap your head around this idea. Liverpool might just be looking at it and looking at his training data and all this stuff around him and going, "There's a big red flag here, and we need to cut this out as quickly as possible."
Do you know, when we talk about like the stats for Salah and stuff, obviously everyone knows the goals are down, the assists are down, per 90, yada, 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 everything's down. Do you know his touches are up?
Really?
Yeah, I found that out today. Yeah.
Mad one, that, isn't it? So it's not like Liverpool aren't trying to get him the football.
No.
But he isn't doing as much with it as he was.
Yeah. And again, this is the thing. This is where the problem is that you've got the eyeball test and then you've got the data, and the best decisions are made. There's a combination of both. I saw an Ian Graham clip prop up on my timeline the night of it, and he was talking about like, you know, how they sign players, and it's like, if the data team doesn't have someone, we don't sign someone. If the scouts aren't having it, we don't sign someone. And Jurgen Klopp wants to come in and have a little, you know, a say on it as well. And if Salah's being shown the door, then it's not going to be because Arne Slot's gone, I don't fancy him anymore. That will have to come. There'll be you don't do that. You don't make this decision, because look at the state of the PR around it. And by the way, it's not like we're saying Liverpool may have done nothing here. This might just be, to Josh's point, Salah's just been on the bench for a week and gone, I'm not having this, not having this. But
because he could have done it in a different way though. Like, he didn't have to do it straight after the game in front of a pack of journalists. He could have just messaged one journalist and gone, yeah, do you fancy just having a little chat on the phone?
That's his go-to.
No, don't even do that. Don't even do that. Just following morning, do your classic knocking on the manager's door and have it out with him.
But he might have tried that. We just don't know. He might have tried that.
And that's where I can come back to it, is why has he done it then? Well, because
he was pissed off.
Well, maybe, but also if he's saying, it's about Brighton being the last home game, is it just that's literally his last chance to do it? Because Inter Milan away, you don't really know how that's gonna go. And you know, you're in another country, how's it gonna work in terms of the journalist? Is it gonna have the same weight? And then Brighton, either way, he's going to AFCON afterwards. If he doesn't come back, that's his last. This was literally his last moment to speak to people about this before.
And it's premeditated as well. If you follow the timeline, it's not he's come out pissed off because unless he phoned his mum and dad just before he spoke to the journals.
It was Friday, wasn't it?
So if he spoke to his mum and dad on the Friday, he sat on it all Saturday, went through the game and then decided.
Well, according to Gorsty as well, he said, wait there, I'll be back as well. When we walked past, did he get changed maybe and come back? For even that, it's not like he's walking out and someone's gone, a word, Mo, and he's gone, oh, fucking, like someone getting fan cammed outside the ground who's just fucking goes, oh, fuck it, this shite, aren't they? And just fucking blows up and loses their heads. You know, it's, yeah.
Do you think that makes it worse, though?
Yeah.
That he's pre-planned it a bit?
Yeah, I do.
That makes it worse. It'd almost be a bit more understandable if it was just a complete emotional reaction on the spot where you've just been caught. But the fact he's went like, yeah, wait here, I'm just going to go and sort myself out first, and then he comes back and says...
But that's why he clearly feels so strongly about whatever treatment he's been getting. And listen, it might just be as simple as bench 3 times, and if it's that, then listen, what's he doing? That is, you know, so
I do think that's what it is.
But if it is what he's suggesting it is, then you've got to have a little bit more empathy for it.
It'll come out. It'll come out what he was promised.
Well, do you remember the Torres one? When Torres left, it was like, the truth of this will come out eventually.
We're still waiting for the ball.
Well, the truth was kind of like,
his knee was fucked.
He got told to play injured, basically, and he was crocked, so that was...
What I do wonder about is the level of communication between the manager and Salah around the week of the dropping, basically. 100%. You know, in each game, how in the loop has he been? Has he treated Salah like he's just any other player, and he's just named the team and Salah's not on it, and Salah's been sat there confused, and then he's done it again, and then he's done it again. If there's been no explanation and no keeping him in the loop, that's not very good.
If he's passive aggressive them out of the team, mate, go read between the lines, Mo.
Yeah,
look what I've put in your position instead of you. What does he do that you don't do, Mo? Like, if he's just hoping that he'll understand the message, like you would if you'd fell out with your missus and you're like, someone's not done the dishes right. You just clang them around a little bit louder. Is that how Slot's managing this situation? That's weird.
Seemingly, yes.
I get the impression he did that exact approach with Harvey Elliott, for example, as a means of hinting like, you're not going to start here, mate, you might want to consider a move. And with him being a Liverpool fan, that was always going to be difficult for him to consider, so you need to really ram it home, sort of thing. But with Salah, at the very least, one thing I definitely would say is that you have to tell him.
You want this conversation.
You have to explain it to him, Christ.
But I think they all do. I just think it's who Slot is, and that's not a good thing when you're in, like, I've used this the other night, but like he might just not be a wartime manager. You know what I mean? He's better in peacetime and stuff. And you do need somebody who's able to go in there and manage egos. It's such a big part of football right now.
I think that was how you described Gravenberch.
It was how I described Gravenberch. He's not a wartime six. Exactly, but it works exactly the same for Slot in the scenario. Do you know what I mean?
It might be that Slot's just not a very good man manager.
But you need to be. It's part and parcel of the game. You need to be when you're in this type of a situation
exactly.
right now, because these egos will all just fly off the handle if you don't get your arms around them quickly. And
I do think, though, that I think the way he is, I think in this situation, how certain players view getting dropped and things like that, I do think no manager would win this one. Honestly, I think if Jurgen was in charge and he'd had to do this and he'd kept Mo in the loop and all that, I still think Mo was going to be, he's undroppable, mate.
Not bad,
he's undroppable. You can't drop a player like that and he'll be happy with it, and he'll just go out quietly.
Again, we look at it because we're not elite football, elite sports people, shockingly enough, but I thought this about the Robertson thing a bit.
I'm not even a sportsman, never mind elite.
I know. But I thought this about, you think, these players, and they'll train up the new lads and they'll get them moving forward into the next generation. These players, the second their contract's up, they don't give a fuck about Liverpool anymore. They might be Liverpool fans and they might come back to it in years to come, but this is what happens in football. People get binned off all the time very quickly. If another big offer comes along, something that really tempted them along, players would move on for this. It's very rare that you get that genuine loyalty to it. So again, Robertson and Salah, for example, if they both knew, and Robertson kind of probably does know this is his last season, that takes a different kind of character to be able to say, I am going to give every egg of energy towards what I'm doing this season for this football club that's going to go on without me. That's I think that's probably an underratedly rare trait in modern footballers, and probably one we don't really get.
I think we've arguably seen exactly that in Robbo though this season. When he starts the campaign, he's a title winner, and Kirk has just come straight in. But Robertson gets his head down, doesn't kick up a fuss, doesn't give an interview after a week, and eventually gets to a point where he comes back into the team. People really value him back in the team, and we're like, we've missed you, sort of thing. That might have been all it took, but within 7 days, Salah has burnt his bridges. He's burnt the bridge, mate.
How many days? He's no coming back from it as well.
I think he goes in January, personally.
On Saturday's his last game, which is just a crying shame ultimately at Anfield on these terms. That's him.
That's if he even features. I mean, if he's done this interview thinking this will get me a game at Brighton, I think he's.
I don't think he cares.
I think he's mad.
Yeah, I don't think that's.
But he was talking about that, weren't he? He was mentioning about like his parents coming.
I think he just wanted to be there.
Last game and all that.
So we can just say bye.
If you want to play, mate, I would have kept quiet, me.
And I said this in other places that I do think Liverpool need to move away from that culture of letting people's contracts run down and then us clapping them off with big parades at the end of the season. We need to be a bit more like, no, we've got all we're getting out of you. Let's have 40 million for you to move on. But also the idea that like all these other players have had it and then Salah gets fucked off in December is mad.
I agree with your general points, but not with him. He deserved to be seen out properly.
Well, look at Gerrard, Gerrard gets to go and do a speech on the pitch, and all that kind of stuff. Like, okay, we got battered, but we got beat by Crystal Palace, and then went on and got annihilated by Stoke at the end of that season. But that's like sad. It's really, really sad. Slot looks like if he's not talking to him, it reminds me of, has anyone ever broken up with someone, but like you knew you were going to break up with them, but you had to spend an allotted amount of time with them before you did it. Like maybe you're at the pictures or whatever, and you're just laughing at the jokes a little less, and maybe not holding on to the hand quite as vociferously or whatever. Is that just a Slot? I don't know. Has he even been told that this is what's happening, mate? If you want Semenyo, then you need a big decision needs to be made over this guy. Because again, we don't know what Slot's purview is and isn't in this stuff. Are they building for something beyond Arne Slot? Don't know that either.
Yeah. Tell you what I would like to know, what the hell the press officer sent in the text message.
Jack was panicking. He was panicking there, wasn't he?
Is that the lad behind him in the high-vis?
Who's doing this, John?
Texting like that.
Yeah, I've seen. I didn't know his name was Jack though. I don't know who he is.
Simon emojis quick.
SOS.
Jesus.
What's Liverpool's version of nah?
Somewhere there's a red phone going freaking mental.
Tony Barrett's on holidays on a spa weekend with his missus.
But like, genuine question, what's the point of having him there if you can't do that?
You can't stop Salah in that situation, can you? I've known it when post that, they might go, listen, don't use this line or that or whatever. That's optional, but you just can't stop Salah.
Do you remember when we did the Klopp interview?
Am I allowed to gag Salah?
But like, basically, when we did the Klopp interview at the end, Tony was the press officer, and he basically goes, like, he's leaving. Like, what's the point? He'll do what he wants. Like, you mean, I can't stop him. I'm not going to tell him he can't say. He did a couple of things where he did say, because like, as just as a random thing, was like to do with I was talking about Adidas. You know, the ref stuff all went in. The ref stuff was fine. Yeah. We were talking about Adidas coming back, which obviously wasn't a publicly known thing at the time, and Klopp was dead excited about it, and he did just go, just not obviously for contractual reasons that stuff can't be things like, I mean, we can't talk about rumours about kit manufacturers, but everything else he was like, God, you like, what am I going to do? And maybe again, is it a bit of that of like Salah's going, I'm saying this, what are you going to do? Stop me? Why? What, like, for what purpose?
It was the phone under the bus line, wasn't it?
Yeah, he really
his
reacted
face
to that.
really went there. Like the wince was like, oh.
What do you think is the worst thing he said?
Probably is that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Broken relationship's not great.
The bit where
relationship.
The bit where he said, I've earned it though, I don't have to...
Yeah, I agree. That's distasteful.
That's a bad one.
I see, this is where I'm wary of like hyper-analysing every word that he said, because he's just speaking, isn't he? I mean, any one of us has done that. You go with the best laid intentions. These are the key points I want to hit, but if you hit them exactly as scripted, that's a huge thing to be able to do that. So yeah, he may well have misspoken in certain situations, but that's the one. I mean, Match Today did a big thing on that one. I think even like all the ex-pros are not on his side, because they can all look at it and go, mate, you don't, but it's not gifted to you. It's not you know what I mean? It's not a job for life. You know? Was
that solely around his inclusion in the side? Or was that, because that again, that might send back to how he's been treated, how he feels he's been handled.
I earned it with my performances last season, and I think all the ex-pros were like, well, you've got to earn it this season.
No, yeah, 100% agree with that, yeah.
He said something like, I don't have to fight for my position, I've already earned my position.
That's nonsense.
Sort of thing, which, you know,
that is nonsense.
Every season, as far as I'm concerned, you start from scratch and you go again.
But the issue we normally have, and this was under Klopp, is they'd almost have like a contract amongst the players every year.
These are my guys.
This is what we're going to do. We're all going to work together. And if Slot does that too, then that is a bit of a betrayal of Salah, because how we always did it was, we get a year. I can't guarantee you've got your contracts, but I can't guarantee you beyond this year, because it's performance related. You've got to be up to the challenge, and we've got to hit the key metrics that we're supposed to be hitting in terms of trophies or position finishes or whatever. If you're doing that, if you're bombing a player at this point of the season, then again, it's not great man management, regardless of whether you think Salah's the right way of doing it or not, and whether you think 7 days on the bench is long enough to be annoyed or not.
Who's played the most minutes for us this season, and where does he rank? Because it's got to be close to the top. Like
Virgil, isn't it?
I checked this yesterday. Yeah.
Virgil,
I think him and Gakpo are not the same.
I think Virgil, Canate, and Szoboszlai are the only 3 that have played more minutes than him. I think.
Not Gravenberg?
Maybe Gravenberg.
He missed one game, is that?
Maybe Gravenberg, yeah.
But that aside,
I know out of all the forward-thinking players, he's top. He got more minutes than Gakpo.
But there's been a lot of chopping and changing.
There's only 3 players who've got all comps more minutes than Mohamed Salah for Liverpool this season, despite the fact that he's only played 45 minutes. Is that right? In the last
week, yeah.
In the last 3 games.
7 days.
7 days. Ibrahim Canate, Dominic Szoboszlai, and Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah.
And look, it would have been the goalie as well, probably.
Yeah, had it not been for his own layoff, yeah.
I'd say there's only one of them that's... no, there's one of them that hasn't deserved.
Which one?
Start
Good Lord. Right, okay, sounds.
Why did we let Quans go?
Mate.
Because he had the bozo gene.
Yeah. We've got his next contract sorted for like 2 years' time. We're going to activate that quicker.
He'll be back in the summer. Okay, wow. What's going? If we were betting men, what do we think happens next? I mean, the talk right now, Dan, is that he's not going to go to Inter Milan, but also, as we're going to come on to in the next part, Liverpool have some injury issues in there, which is like could be cutting off our nose to spite our face on that stuff.
Massively, yeah.
That's the very, very short term, is that he's got 2 more games that he's definitely a Liverpool player for. He goes to AFCON. does he come back?
As it stands right now for me, there is no coming back from this, and I think he will leave early January. Now you have to find a suitable taker with a decent bank account to come and get him, not just from a Liverpool perspective, but from a wage perspective as well. Listen, they've been there in the past, definitely for Mo Salah. If they're there again in January, we'll wait and see. But yeah, as it stands right now, with everything we know, Mo Salah is not a Liverpool player beyond January for me, and that is the end of it. And it's sad. It's a sorry state of affairs that it's come to this. And if it is, as Chris mentioned earlier on, maybe I don't believe this to be the case. If it is Slot or Salah, they may well put all their eggs in the Slot basket, but then we might find ourselves in a position a few months down the line where Salah's gone and Slot's gone. So it's a really difficult predicament to be in. That.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I think in January he probably leaves. When things like this happen, you know, you think of Henderson when he came back and he found out that he was coming out the team and Szoboszlai was kind of in his place and that sort of thing. Henderson very quickly accelerates and moved to Saudi Arabia and like, you know, almost does it emotionally really. You know, you think of when it kind of deteriorated with Aubameyang, usually it happens quickly, and Ronaldo as well. You know, Ronaldo moves to Saudi. So usually when there's like a high profile star and he falls out with the man in charge and he's on a high wage and all that, usually it happens quite quick. So it is very sad, like, you know, it's not how it was supposed to end if it does go that way, but that's what I think will happen, yeah.
I think he's definitely gone in January. Depends obviously where they finish in AFCON and when that finishes and stuff like that, but wouldn't surprise me if he was out there facilitating the move or getting it ready for whenever. I'm 90% sure he goes to Saudi, but there is a part of me that thinks he might think, fuck them, I'm going to show them I can still do it in Europe. But it's whether anybody takes that up.
This has been the Salah conundrum for about 3 or 4 years now of like...
I think he'd take somewhere in Europe, though, over Saudi to prove that he can still do it at the absolute top level. I just don't think it's as cut and dry. And I agree with that, Paul. I just don't know who that club is. Is there even anybody who could be a taker in that scenario? I can't think of one.
I mean, we were saying about like the Diaz flourishing at Bayern Munich, but Bayern don't need him, and they certainly don't need him at that wage. PSG, I mean, stylistically now is he a suit for what PSG do? Exactly. Well, exactly. Real Madrid, no, they're not going to be in there. Barcelona can't afford them. I mean, they'll try. I'm saying a bit. Can we get him on loan for 2 years and we'll deregister Danny Olmo for a week and then
we'll give you Spotify Premium for nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 40 free tours for you and all your family in the new stadium. And then what? I mean, go back to again Italy. No money in Italy, so that no one's likely to. De
Bruyne's just gone to Napoli though, and that was a similar thing where again he felt like he had value to offer. Guardiola didn't want him. He told him it was time. De Bruyne fails to see that because he's a star, and he wants to go immediately, and that's what happens. But
De Bruyne is currently injured, right?
Yeah,
did a hamstring recently, I think.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the money, Italy would be. Yeah, sensible.
Last question then on the Salah thing. If Arne Slot is sacked between the Brighton game and the end of the African Cup of Nations, does Salah still leave in January?
No.
I don't know about that one. I think possibly, yeah.
I think so. I think if they're dead set on it, it would be interesting to see. Is it the manager's plan or is it Liverpool's hierarchy?
For Salah to mention Slot and the relationship, you have to think he has a large part to play in whatever the breakdown in communications has been here.
Didn't he also say something about the people upstairs wanting to sell him though?
He said somebody at this football club. He never mentioned who. He said somebody wants him gone.
I thought he said something about the people upstairs.
No, he said someone at the football club wants him out.
Right.
Yeah.
Fucking hate.
Which we haven't even discussed, but that he oversaw it. And what were we doing in the summer if this was the?
I told you, mate, because
it's mad to me.
Because he might have been this good this season, as good this season as he was last year. He might have been, and if he's not, you get 50 million to whatever £1 million for him. It was such a no-brainer getting a Salah deal for me.
I just don't think Liverpool expected to hit this floor.
No.
I don't think they expected. I think they thought the floor for this deal is Salah is half the player, and the team still works as units, and we take a fee for him next summer. But what's happened is Liverpool have conceded 10 goals against like Forest, PSV and City. Were really bad. He's tried lots of things. Salah has to come out the team. And
Can I just suggest something momentarily? If we'd have played better as a collective and been a more cohesive unit, Salah might have had a mini dip in form, I think it's fair to say, maybe a major one, whichever. But we could have potentially scratched his back a little bit more, to your point. If we just played better around him, I know he's been central to some of our problems and what, because creatively he's not been as good and defensively he doesn't work necessarily. But if we'd just played better, could we not have accommodated Salah for a little bit to get him through his rough patch? We've seen it before, like, you know, when he's come back from AFCON, he's had sticky spells, and then maybe at some point he'd have got up and running. The fact that we've been fundamentally broken everywhere.
I think we got Salah up and
poor.
running, which is the mad thing. I thought he played quite well against Forest and PSV. I thought he was getting involved, he was dribbling past people, he was being active in football games that he hadn't been in the start of the season. And that's probably what's hard for Salah. He's like, no, I've been working really hard, and it's actually...
But stuff went wrong behind him.
Doesn't feel him out. Yeah. The only thing I can hope is that if they've decided there's a fundamental issue in what you're doing, what you want to get is 11 lads who've just got unbelievable engines, who can get in people's faces and run around flat out for 90 minutes. But the obvious question to that is, I was talking to my dad about this, he's like, is that Slot's brand of football? You know, is he a high-intensity, high-pressing manager?
No.
So... if that's the case, then what's the point? So what are we trying to accomplish?
I think
I
think what they're trying to accomplish is Slot's trying to turn us into a very Dutch passing side, isn't he? And that won't be everybody's cup of tea, and it's not particularly enjoyable to me either. I think a lot of people have mentioned the brand of football not being up there and stuff, but you have to give him the best opportunities to turn this around. And I think that for Slot was taking Salah out of the firing line, putting somebody else in there that they can play the right way, and you need to play that way for 2 or 3 months to see if it's going to improve. If it doesn't improve, Slot won't be in a job. And it will be somebody else who therefore takes the mantle on. Whether that person will have Salah or not is yet to be seen. But a new manager coming in will look at this squad and go, wow, we've got some pieces here. We just need to do this, this and this. And if somebody came in with a high pressing sort of style of football, I think we've still got that within us, that we could be a fantastic side again relatively quickly if that's the way we want to play.
Yeah, interesting. What do you reckon? Yeah, if Slot goes, would Salah automatically stay, and it would be up to the next manager to take that on? Because again, that's what's mad. It's a bit like it's in danger of becoming the Ronaldo at Man United situation.
It's very similar. Yeah.
He's over. He's more important and more beloved than the man who's in the dugout, and more liked. And I'm sure there's all kinds of managers who just love the chance to manage Mo Salah. So they would always say yes, but they would say yes without having a full understanding of the picture of what that player maybe is at this point in time. But yeah.
Before we move on, Paul, what's the vibe in the comments?
Yeah.
I've got a bunch of super chats actually. We'll go through them. Stephen Somerville, Irish Rugb. God, my eyes are going. For me, I think Salah has to go, since people forget his stats since January for goals and assists are not what they used to be. Sell him for the money and redevelop the squad, especially in defence. Tyron says, regardless of your position on Slot, Salah has to apologise or leave. The next manager can't be afraid to make tactical decisions on who to play. Jono, this is borderline on xenophobia, Jono. Slot's man management is typical Dutch. Bad. Was one of the things about the man management stuff is that one thing that he did definitely come in, and he's quite forthright, I think, in terms of like whether you're at the level or not, and it makes you wonder whether if you're an elite footballer and you've done it all and someone comes in and goes, actually you're not at the level, you might not take that particularly.
Well, yeah, if you're a manager who critiques players often, how many times did Rafa Benitez wind someone up the wrong way? Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Everyone who won under Rafa loved Rafa, but everyone who either Rafa didn't get on with, out bombed out or whatever, absolutely hated his guts. And even the ones who really, really liked him because they wouldn't, still were a bit like, mate, could you just
hard work,
just fucking wind it in a little bit? Yeah, fair enough. John O'Bach again says, Mo gives us 8 great years, had a bad start to his 9th and is binned out of the team. the Liverpool way, apparently. Meanwhile, Canate's match fixing.
Canate what?
Match fixing. Simon Mackham says Mo's earned his issues and sounds selfish how he did it. I think he's assumed Slot out and picked the time to make himself look better. Hate this whole mess. I think we can all agree on that one, mate. Strictly Football says Salah said he asked the manager for an explanation and got nothing back. That is poor management, in my opinion. To get to this point, need to manage the egos. Yeah, absolutely. It's part and parcel of managing a top football club, as the egos are part and parcel of it. Keep your comments coming in. We are almost out of time for the entire podcast, but we still have the next part to do, so we'll do that. We will talk Inter Milan after this short break. Hey everyone, I'm very proud to announce that after 17 years, my very first novel is here. The Eternal Flame, Yes the Boy, is available to pre-order right now on www.machpublishing.com. It is completely and utterly unlike anything that I've done on my 15 and a half years here on Redmen TV. It is a superhero story. It is a book about a boy who mysteriously trades lives with a forgotten World War II superhero, the Eternal Flame. It is also about a young girl, Anna Harrison, who finds herself in the present day pulled into an 80-year-old conspiracy theory to steal the power of the flame for nefarious purposes. It is a World War II action blockbuster. It is a bit of a teen comedy as well. It is very much inspired by the likes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Smallville and the MCU and Back to the Future and all of those greats that so many of us grew up on and absolutely adore, and yet distilled into this, my first ever work of fiction. It is completely outside of my wheelhouse, so I appreciate if it's not your bag, but if you were into all those things that I mentioned, I really think you will enjoy this. So yeah, please do give it a punt. It is on pre-order right now on Mage Publishing. There is a discount there as well. I just want people to read it and hopefully really, really enjoy it as much as I have over the last 17 years making it. Yeah, it is out now. The Eternal Flame, Yes the Boy, magepublishing.com. Nice one. Yes, thank you so much. A week left on guaranteed UK delivery for the book if you're asked about such things. We had a couple more super chats while we were on the break. Igor says, this could end up like Koeman and Suarez at Barca. I am not familiar with that. That go?
No,
anyone?
sorry.
No. Cool.
No.
Sorry, mate. Don't think of things outside of Liverpool. Josh Lawrenson, do yourselves a favour, do not read the comments.
How bad are they?
But it goes back to it. The problem with all this is that you've got this definitely more modern phenomenon of like people are fans of footballers, and then when you're a fan of a footballer, you become a fan of a football club off the back of it. And of course, you can love your best footballer at your football club. We all do that. But I don't know, for me, you see so many go in a variety of different ways that it's just the club endures. So players will go. I find it very difficult to get dead annoyed about footballers not wanting to be or not playing for the football club or not being good enough. But I can appreciate there's probably loads of people who are Mohamed Salah super fans and hate Slot as a result, because those same Mohamed Salah super fans would fucking turn on Sadio Mane every time they had a little thing on the pitch. Our comment sections were just filled with like Sadio Mane abuse from like diehard Salah fans, and this is not going to be. Going to be.
I think for me, the older I get, the more I see both sides of every bloody argument, and I run myself round in circles thinking about things. When I was young, I would just be like, "No, back, and that was it. Like, do you know what I mean? Just fucking knocking things all over the place, because I had that one opinion that was completely set in stone and would never move on things. And there's nothing wrong with that. Fuck off.
He wasn't correct, that one too.
You see a smug little face.
I'm fed up looking at him.
Absolutely pathetic. Right, down into Milan. So as it stands at time of recording, Mohamed Salah is unlikely to be in the travelling squad. Cody Gakpo is out for 2 weeks with an injury. Chiesa didn't train.
Flying.
Perfect time.
Just set the studio on fire.
Yeah,
This is fine.
Perfect time. Yeah, to bomb out a legend of your football club.
I mean, I don't really know where to start with any of that. And you could add Wataru Endo, not that he was likely to play left winger though at the minute, you never know. And Jamie Frimpong also not involved in that particular training session. So Liverpool have, Arne Slot has a problem. heading to Milan. It's a must-win game for me away at Inter Milan. So if we're going to do anything in the Champions League, qualify in the top 8 especially, but I think it's just a must-win game for a whole myriad of reasons. And yeah, there's not many attacking options at his disposal, which he'll be acutely aware of. But I think David Ornstein tweeted earlier on today, there's no punishment for Mo Salah if indeed they don't take him. They're treating it as common sense, given his comments over the weekend. But you said it earlier on, are you cutting your nose off to spite your face a little bit? And I feel like if we do go with that travelling squad without those players, some of them omitted because of behaviour and the others omitted because of injury, then what are chances of winning that game of football? They were pretty slim anyway, I think it's fair to say. Inter Milan have a proper side, full of confidence, scoring goals, and we aren't many of those things right now.
I'm all in on.
Mate, he thinks Inter Milan is shit, remember?
Oh, Serie A.
Serie A,
full stop. Therefore, it's a
I mean,
cakewalk.
they're not fucking Atalanta. What are we doing? They're not Napoli.
They're not top of the league, either, to be fair. No, they're not.
Garbage, mate.
Ooh.
Whatever, mate. We're in a mess. Me being critical of Italian football. If we could lose to that, it wouldn't change any opinions on it because Liverpool are fucking crap. Look, Liverpool are not without options in that world. No Salah. You're looking at still got Rio as an option for the left. I wonder whether this might be just an opportunity to use Ekatike, Isak, continue with Szoboszlai on the right. Maybe there is also, I mean, Conor Bradley presumably would be at right back, but you could use him further advanced if you wanted to put Joe Gomez in there. Kerkez could be used further up the field as he is for Hungary if we needed to as well. If they're choosing, even in that environment, not to take Mo Salah, then it kind of tells you everything you need to know about the club's opinion on Mo Salah at this point.
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity to actually test the idea of a diamond, though. A lot of people have been talking about the midfield diamond all season. It's something that we haven't really seen. But one of the problems with playing a diamond is it's a wingless system. So what you do with Gakpo, what you do with Salah. But in this game, you've got neither by the sounds of it. The backup is Rio, who's only 17, and you've got Szoboszlai, who's been not really playing as a wide player, really. He's been playing a bit more inside, hasn't he? So you actually got scope in this game to play with a diamond, a front two. Is Bradley fit?
He's fit, but he's likely to play some form because he can't play at the weekend.
I would have a look at that. I would have a look at that, I think, depending on some other squad decisions and that, but
have we got enough time though? Because Slot's always bemoaning the lack of training time to do new things.
Yeah. We could probably tell what they did in training if we go back and watch the YouTube video.
Yeah.
To do something completely out of the box different, which we haven't seen before.
I don't think it's too different. It's just, I mean, if you've got no wingers, what else are you doing? I mean, if you've got no wingers, you have to go through a relatively narrow system, and if you want your best players on the pitch, you could, in theory, field the midfield four of Wirtz, McAllister, Szoboszlai and Gravenberch. You know, you've had flying fullbacks all season. People have been wanting to see them fly. They have to do that in a diamond system. So we did this against I think Southampton earlier in the season. The team that we picked, because of the players we had available, he just picks a random. I think we played a back three, didn't we? Wasn't you at that game? Sometimes you've got like an isolated game where you just have to pick a formation for them, and this sounds like one of them.
I think I certainly see Josh's point. I think it, because of the timing side of things, you could use McAllister in the 10. You could use Wirtz off the left-hand side. You could use Szoboszlai, or you could play Curtis Jones in that left-hand side role. He played really well, midweek. At the weekend, maybe you do want Jones in alongside Gravenberch. I still think there's a few little rejig options here for us. Without it, yeah. And because they're such a strong side, I always think that's the worst time to change, is when you're going up against a strong side who know what they're going to do. But equally, you can surprise a team, can't you? If you go and do something you've never done before, they're not prepared for it, but ultimately they're in their sort of set sort of formation, they tend to do well against it.
If you think of it from a perspective of, like, from the weekend, Salah doesn't even get used, so that's not necessarily a huge difference. If it's no Gakpo, then yeah, you're basically only changing your left winger. It's what you've got on the bench if you need to make big changes is a bit of the issue, but you can get through a game or a game or two by fixing things. And again, it goes back to the Kerkez and Bradley thing, is we've actually still got pacey players there. I would rather see Kerkez put left side than maybe Curtis Jones, because at least you can, particularly away from home in Italy as well, where you can a bit of pace probably wouldn't go against us. But yeah, I'm not opposed to the idea of just give Rio a go. Put him all out. Or is this again, as I say, finally let Ekitike and Isak do that and go where they want really. The Brighton game sits beyond it. Dan, and look, this is the relative where we're at. Liverpool now do need to just win 2 games back to back here, but yeah, it's an asking of itself because we needed to win the last 2 games as well.
Yeah, no, I absolutely. I think it's somewhat essential that we do for both the domestic and the European cause. I don't think there's any alternative. I think it's going to be really, really difficult, if I'm being honest. Inter Milan is a tough assignment regardless, and we've done well in San Siro in recent years, don't get me wrong, but they are flying high right now, free scoring, and they've got 2 strikers in particular that I think offer things that we really don't like coming up against. So that's going to be problematic. And Brighton, yeah, they're an odd side, aren't they? Quite exciting to watch. There always seems to be goals in their games, generally speaking, but they're going to pose another threat. They often have some joy every time they come to Anfield. It feels like they're certainly in the games anyway. So, yeah, it's going to be 2 massive games of football, and I think we're going to be quite hamstrung in terms of options, because whilst we're talking there but you might just about have 11, 12 lads to get through tomorrow night, all of a sudden you're then going to go into the weekend, and who knows on availability, those we just mentioned, you're then going to be Conor Bradley-less for the weekend as well. So how do you get Joe Gomez through both? Do you have to save him for the weekend? Like, we really are not running out of options, but certainly short on them.
You've had time to get Calvin Ramsey up to fitness, though, surely, by that point. How many of the 21 games can he play between now and then?
The London 21s haven't played for like 5 weeks and don't play until mid-January.
Oh, great. So none. So never mind. Sorry, Calvin. Wait, try my best.
They haven't played for 5 weeks and they don't play till mid-January.
Honestly, yeah.
Did the season end?
No. It's the bizarrest thing I've ever come across in my life in terms of scheduling. Yeah, I feel 4
So
weeks.
they go 9-week gap?
Literally. Last time I was there.
Bring back reserve footy.
Last time I was there, I asked the manager exactly that, and his mind was... He knew, obviously, but his mind was blown by it all. He couldn't get his head around it.
The manager.
And Rob Page was like, yeah, no, it's mad, isn't it? We might play some friendlies. I think he played like 1 or 2 friendlies. He played Sheffield United a week or so ago. Yeah, they had played a couple of friendlies, but non-competitive, obviously. But yes, wild.
Brighton game is a Conference League 6-pointer, Josh. We really need to start holding.
Let them win the game.
We are level on points with Brighton, although they've got a 4 better goal difference than us. And look, this is the kind of thing is that I keep hearing people go, well, we're only 3 points off top 4, which is factually correct. But, we were only 3 points off like 3rd the week before. And then eventually it's you're only 4 points or you're only 6 points. And then you just got to put this run together. You've got to start to grind some wins out soon. Otherwise, we're going to have to stop talking about top 4 and start thinking about how we stay in the top half.
I'm thinking about first. We were 11 behind them. Now we're 10.
I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a long season. Isn't it?
That's how top 4 races go. Is what I'm kind of saying. Is when you're not good enough to be in the top 3 of the league, you do this. It's been years since we've really had these conversations, but you go, it's only this and that. It's
the 19 teams in between you and 4th. That's the problem.
Exactly. These next couple of weeks, I just feel like that's gonna stretch out far more than we'd be comfortable.
I suppose the positive is we literally couldn't possibly have been any worse than what we've seen so far, and we are still within touching distance, within one result of being in the Champions League spots, which is the most. Is it the most important thing? Probably as a flaw, it's the minimum, really, isn't it? But yeah, I think there's a very realistic possibility that we lose the next 2. I think it's worth saying.
If we lose the next 2, is he out of a job?
I don't know.
It's depending the method in which the defeats are.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, isn't there? But we've got Inter Milan away, and we've got Brighton at home with all of them injuries you've just mentioned, and so much division amongst the group. It's not on
Mo Salah farewell game.
Yeah, honestly, it's not out of the question that we lose both there. And
what are you talking? Salah and Slot, or were you talking about both games?
I'm talking Salah and Slot.
4 things.
Yeah, everything.
The quad. Finally at last.
Everything, honestly, everything.
I think he goes, by the way, if we lose both of them, for what it's worth.
Again, I
don't disagree with that at all. I've made myself very, very clear on things, but at some point it's going to be enough for the people who own the football club. And I think those 2 games, if you lose them, although I'm not as big on it's must win in the Champions League. I think it's must win because of the form that Liverpool are in. I think you can beat Marseille and Karabag and still get into the top 8. But I do think because of the form that you're in, it's must win in that scenario. Maybe that's what you will.
That's more of it, to be honest with you, the momentum and just stopping this.
It's, for me, it goes back to it. It's the method in which defeats are achieved. You know, if we just totally and utterly cave in on ourselves, if we offer nothing, if we play boring football, then concede first, and then our heads go and we do nothing, then you're like, well, it's done. The whole thing's clearly run its course. But there's been just about enough fight in the last few weeks for me to go, I don't think the players have given up on the manager, because again, I think I just think
one might have.
Well, no, the players, all of the squad, the ones who are getting picked haven't. I mean, look, again, as I said it before, Salah's on the bench for a week and gives up. Chiesa literally is fighting for every spare second on the pitch, blocking. Could literally have accidentally missed the clearance on the line that put his manager out of a job. You know, it's one of them. They don't look like they're done, but they could look like that in the next 2 games, and then you tend to know.
I think this is why he's moved it to a bit of a lower bench game though in the past week. Like the idea has been, just don't get hammered, because I think that was what was happening, wasn't it? We were getting battered every game. Like,
that's
really
the problem.
Bad. That's what gets you sacked.
You do that in boxing or UFC or whatever. If you go or covering up or cricket, if you just go, I'm just going to defend. Eventually, you cave. You've got to actually have something going the other way. Otherwise, a superior opponent will eventually wear you down, and it's fine making a low event game, but the events that are in the game do need to then still go in your favour, which is the same whether it's a high event game or a low event game. And if we can stand the fucking misery and boredom while that's happening is another issue. Because if you lose the match going fans, then that's it.
I actually think he's lost quite a few, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm quite surprised. Some people who are, I really value their opinions, he's lost. Like,
do you think that's the entertainment factor, to your point? The reason why?
No, I think it's how
not entertained and win.
Yeah, I don't think it's entertainment. I think it's just how badly coached we look. I completely get it. Like, there's not much that you can put your stock in and think, there's the saving grace. It is a lot of negative in every department.
If Bert could just score a couple of goals, or Isak again. I mean, Ekatike the week was a good example of that. Of like, there you go, where's one of the new boys coming in and doing the business? You can go, you feel like you can hang your hat on something, but when it's not that, it's very difficult. A few more super chats. D says, this kind of situation divides a dressing room. Worrying. Yeah. Ruari says, didn't think at the time, but perhaps Edwards might have given the contract to protect Salah's value and get a fee. Seems like it's being expedited to January. And Sayan Roy says, Salah was out of order. Only 3 players have played more than him, which we've discussed before. Sobo being the season's best, and the other 2 centre-backs don't have options. And I'm a slot out guy who'd rather have Salah in than Slot. So, there you go. Good comments. Good comments all around, everyone. Wish this was more upbeat, but Liverpool aren't playing very well, and our best players just dropped an absolute fucking hand grenade in our lives. So,
to be expected.
Right. If you want more from us, we're going to be doing the Bias Football podcast over on Redmen Plus, where we're going to... Arsenal lost, which is something... I think I may have celebrated that Buendia goal almost as much, just because of football, as any other goal I saw this week. I genuinely... I was on my own on the couch, and I whooped.
Harry Wilson's got the treatment for me, let me tell you right now. That was,
sad. So, come and join us over on Redmen Plus for that show. Otherwise, keep your heads up. We'll be back with another Originals podcast next week.